Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a nice little build, an RAF 10 horsepower utility car. This comes as part of this Tamiya set with the Spitfire Mk.I, and I've got to say I haven't done the Spitfire yet, but it's really nice. There's some brass and odds and ends that come in this kit. I think in Australian money it was about $60. The instructions, as usual, Tamiya, straight to the point. I wouldn't say they're as fancy as Edward or anything like that, but you can't go wrong generally with Tamiya. In this case, I'm starting off with the driver. I get his arms on. It gives me a bit of a picture, I guess, on what I need to do and how it's going to go together. From there, I then start doing more of the cleanup. But in general, with most Tamiya kit, especially the newer ones, there's actually not a lot of cleanup. It's minimal in that sense. The main chassis goes together. Sweet, really nice. And I was surprised actually. As I say, it's been a while since I've done any armor or anything. But the detail in this, even on the undersurface, with the tail shaft, all that, the springs, it's really nice. I just, what would I say? I wouldn't say bare minimum because it is kind of fun and it's relaxing to take a bit of a break doing something different. But I probably wouldn't have done that much in the sense that you can only see a limited amount. In this case, I did also use my Mr. Surfacer in the initial stages just to fill in some of the gaps on the build of the figure. Not that they're big or anything, but I think when you're enjoying what you're doing, you do tend to take just that little bit more care. So I do airbrush it and then I use the Mr. Surfacer just to fill in some of those cracks. The molding, yeah, really nice. You can't fault it at all. The decals, there's not many on this, but we will see later on. Essentially, we've just got the roundels and the RAF on this scheme that I'm going to do. We're onto the dashboard and the steering column. Again, there's not a lot there, but you have to remember, especially if you're younger, the older vehicles, there really wasn't much. It was like a tachometer and speedo, oil pressure gauge, I guess, and water temperature. That was about it. There was nothing fancy. Even my first car, which was a Chrysler, it was like that. So just keep that in mind. And especially, what would you say, utility vehicles, yeah, not going to get anything fancy. One thing I have been doing, and I just thought I'd add this in here, even with my blurry camera work, is I did pick up a bunch of BBs off Amazon, so I've been adding them in as I'm opening up paints that don't have any. It does make a difference. It really helps with your stirring and mixing because it doesn't matter which brand, they all will settle. So that's the chassis coming together. I'm just coming through with, I think it's semi-gloss black. Been using a bit more of the Tamiya paints lately. Sometimes it's just easier. And then what I'm doing here is dry brushing. There's plenty of videos out there, but essentially I'm just trying to add a little bit of, what would you say? Almost texture, I think it really is. As silly as that sounds, it just gives a bit of variety. But what I'm going to do here is almost the inverse of what you would expect, and that is I'm coming back and doing the dials, the dark black. I've been using those Vallejo colors lately and enjoying them. One interesting thing for those that don't know, or probably everyone knows this and I'm late to the party, I didn't realize Vallejo started in USA in the 60s doing illustration paints. So that's how they come about. So what you can see there I've done is almost made the dashboard light and the instrument or the control, what would I say, the dials, the gauges are darker. It's a different way of doing things, and I was happy with that result. The exhaust pipe and muffler and all that all goes in very nice. I've just used, I think it was metallic grey. I'll put a list of the colours in this build underneath, but really there's only 2 or 3. So from there then I come back and I've used a sort of inverse masking on my wheels. The armour people are much smarter. They use the stencils. Instead, I have the inverse from my Cry-Cut vinyl, and I've just masked over a bit. So I'm doing this field blue on the wheels themselves after I've basically used, I think, MIG, rubber and tyres. That's my go-to for tyres. I always like it. I think it gives a really nice rubbery effect. So yeah, this is really, really nice. There's a bunch of, what would you say, smaller parts that go on it that you do need to take care of, but the main chassis and everything, yeah, no problems at all. So this is that field blue. It's a bit hard to get the camera to really do justice to what the color is. I think that's probably about right there. In some of the photographs it can tend to look a bit dark, but it is more of a bluish sort of color. One other thing just before I forget, do like, comment and subscribe. Again, it makes a difference. If no one talks to me, YouTube basically thinks the channel sucks, so they won't show it to anyone else, and it becomes a downhill slide. So that's why YouTube people tend to nag about that. So definitely do like, comment and subscribe. Okay, the figure, yeah, I was having fun here. It was a nice little, yeah, probably one of the better figures I've done in a while. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on any of that. So what I've done is I've done that field blue on the main chassis. Now I'm coming back and just detailing it. So the filler cap for the petrol, the lights and so on. The reason I did it that way was I wanted to actually, I wasn't sure if I was in the right zone, I guess, with my color to begin with. And then this just lets me touch up. I wouldn't say it was planned that way, but it worked out well. Interestingly, for the tarpaulin or canvas rear cover, they've given you this clear plastic. Originally, I was going to do it closed, but then I took it and did the rolled up. One other thing I did do, which I don't really have the video of, because there's a seam line there, and I can't claim any huge credit, it just sort of worked out that way. I did try and take out the seam line, but one good thing it did do is flatten the surface, so it gives it more of a material look. Some of these little bits, these little lights, yeah, that took me a bit of patience and perseverance to get them done, but yeah, they're one of those things that you just got to do. For the main windshield, I wasn't brave enough to start trying to hand paint around there, and I didn't want to do the masking. That seemed like just didn't appeal to me. I'm not that fanatical. Instead, I used one of my art pens. I think I saw it on some guy's car channel ages ago, where what he was doing was really clever. He gave a proper glass effect by using green marker, and it gives that greenish tint to the glass. So maybe I'll try and experiment more with that in future. The fit here, again, just goes through easily. I did come through and paint the wooden decking in the tray area or the rear area. Yeah, this is, at this point, all going together really nicely. So there's the dashboard, steering column, how that all goes together. Painting the spade and other things that go on there. There's not a lot on these, actually. But there you can see what I was talking about. Because I had sanded the canopy, or I guess it's a canopy or tarpaulin, it gave a nice sort of flattened effect. Decals, really easy. There's not even, 4? RAF on the doors and the 2 roundels. Oh, and there's a number plate, which we'll see in a minute. As I say, this was a really, really cool kit. I'm really happy with it. I will be doing more of these. Oh, so there's the number 2, goes together there. The only thing I'd say about this was there is a couple fiddly bits, like getting that number plate on and a couple of lights. But if you're careful, take your time, yeah, easy. Really, really cool. I'm looking forward to doing the Mark I spit. What I've done here is, as per the instructions or the paint scheme, I've just come back with some, in that case, SMS, which I had on my desk, just some, I think it's flat white or semi-gloss white, which seemed appropriate, just to do these edgings, which I My understanding is in the time of blackout makes sense because hardly any lights. So yeah, kind of put those edgings on the wheels and the bumpers. There it is. Really, really sweet kit. Hope you've enjoyed that. Definitely stay tuned. In the next video, which will be in the next few days, I'm doing a review essentially of the last year because, believe it or not, that's 1 year of me on YouTube. So bit of an anniversary special for the Easter weekend. As always, hope you've enjoyed that. Look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Have a happy Easter and best wishes from Sydney, Australia. Thanks again.